My name is Maxime Simon and I'm a pre-sales engineer at Snowflake here in Paris. And today we're going to talk about optimizing dashboard performance for business intelligence. With me is Stefan from Synergy and Nicolas from Indexima. Could you please introduce yourself, Stefan?
Hi Maxime, I'm Stéphane Lambin, CTO of Synergy. Synergy is a data company specialized in Snowflake since 2018.
Okay.
Hello gentlemen, I'm Nicolas, CEO of Indexima. And at Indexima, in fact, we're a team of SQL experts, Snowflake specialists, and we've been working for 8 years to automatically optimize BI-type SQL queries.
Right. So today's topic is how to speed up access to dashboards. Finally, Stéphane, could you share a little of your experience with us when a customer's users aren't satisfied with the performance of their dashboards?
Yes, it happens quite frequently. There are 3 ways to improve dashboard performance. You can reduce the number of dashboards, that's to say, negotiate with the user to simplify the dashboard. You can also increase the power of Snowflake, which means more credit and more consumption. You can also, and this is long and laborious, ask data engineers to prepare specific data marts for each dashboard.
I imagine that's what you're doing at Synergy today. You ask data engineers to prepare data marks for each use case.
When you're working with large volumes, you have to, otherwise performance won't be satisfactory enough to keep users happy.
Okay, and it requires a certain knowledge, I imagine, of the data behind and the queries that come from BI tools.
It takes time, and you have to adapt to every change in user opinion. So as soon as they ask for additional information, you call the data engineer again and remodel the data mart. So it's wasted time for each change and increased project time.
As I understand it, that's the problem you've got to solve at Indexima. Could you tell us a little bit about how you do it?
With pleasure. In fact, Indexima for Snowflake is like a super automated DB admin who comes and listens to what's going on in your Snowflake to find the best optimizations. In concrete terms, Indexima looks at all the requests that pass between your BI tools that sends aggregation queries and your Snowflake. And Indexima will use these queries, fetching metadata, information on the data model, cross-cardinalities, to create aggregation structures, just like your teams, aggregation structures in Snowflake, cubes, data marts, this principle of a minified table, an aggregation table, and we'll store it in an object you know very well, Snowflake's dynamic table.
The dynamic tables.
The aim is to create the smallest dynamic tables possible to meet the needs and uses of each of your dashboards. Indexima's second step is to redirect requests. Once a dynamic table is eligible to answer queries coming from the dashboards, Indexima will redirect the queries to the best dynamic table so that the query goes fast. So Indexima builds an aggregation layer on top of your table inside Snowflake, and Indexima redirects queries to this aggregation layer. All this is done completely automatically without any human intervention or DBA.
Stefan, could you tell us about the concrete experience you had when implementing Snowflake and with Indexima, the examples you saw before using Indexima, and afterwards, when you implemented it, how it changed the user experience?
I'd like to give you a concrete demonstration based on a retail case on a sales table. So typically, retail is a high volume business, and thanks to Indexima, response times are much faster than before.
Okay, let's go.
The dashboard that I'm going to present to you currently runs directly on Snowflake. So as soon as I open it, it executes requests on Snowflake. As you can see, this is already a bit long. When I open this dashboard, about 8 queries are executed. Imagine 8 queries on 1.6 billion lines. So it's a bit slow for users, but you have to realize that it's still extremely powerful. But as you'll see with every click, it's a bit laborious. Obviously, if it's a heavily used dashboard with Snowflake's cache, performance improves. The dashboard has appeared, as you can see, and this first opening took some time. I'm going to make a small filter on the store hierarchy by selecting DDP. And there it is again, 8 queries still running on my big table. So you see, it's a bit laborious. Can you imagine someone, as soon as he analyzes, as soon as he wants to cross-reference, zoom in on a store to find out who has the best performance? We can't leave it like that. So what we're going to do is switch this dashboard over to Indexima. As you'll see, it's extremely simple. I go to the data source, modify the connection, and the only thing I have to do here is switch to Indexima. I click on Save. And this is the only concrete action that I will have to do. So now, if I open my dashboard, what happens? Not much yet. So what's going to happen now is that Indexima will look at the queries, the way I navigate, and prepare intelligent aggregations to optimize this dashboard. The dashboard is now displayed. So now I'm going to perform a few actions. The difference is that now Indexima observes what's going to happen, observe the user's behavior.
So the query is sent to Indexima, which sends it directly back to Snowflake, but we track the SQL query that went through.
That's it. The data doesn't move. Snowflake is still processing the data. There it appears. I can, for example, select my best stores. Each time there's a little waiting time. And it's this waiting time that's the problem, because it's too long. It's unsatisfactory for quick analysis. We'll carry on. We'll apply a filter. For example, we'll filter on a country. Something I hadn't done before. Here you go. I'm going to filter on stores again, and we'll see, little by little, it'll get faster and faster. This waiting time will disappear, because very quickly, Indexima will seamlessly calculate mini data marts that will speed up user navigation. If now I select another store, see, it's much faster than before. If I zoom in on a store, it's extremely fast. In practice, however, my dashboard always shows the same table. Let's take a look at the Indexima site. This is the Indexima interface. Here, you can see that all my first queries were gray. Gray means that they were sent directly to Snowflake. So we were systematically working on 1.6 billion lines. And as you can see at the end, we're starting to see a lot more blue. That means Indexima is doing its job. Queries are optimized. What's also interesting is to see at the bottom that optimized queries last on average half a second, whereas standard queries last an average of 12 seconds. So, as you can see, we've divided processing times by a factor of 24. You can see the dynamics tables that have been organized here in Indexima, which I of course find again in Snowflake, in the same way. So that's what Indexima is all about. It's all about preparing the right aggregations, so that each time the dashboards are as optimized as possible. So here, I'm already on the database, and here we see dynamic tables, and you can see the 3 DTs set up by Indexima. So you can see that the data doesn't move from Snowflake. Indexima doesn't store data. Indexima is the intelligence in the middle between the dashboard and the preparation of data in Snowflake.
Actually, Stefan, can you show me the dashboard? On the dashboard Stefan has been showing us since the beginning, there are lots of different queries, a few queries to retrieve the KPIs at the top, another query to retrieve the different information you'll find on the map. As you were saying earlier, Stefan, there are 8 queries, right?
Yes.
In fact, the super DBA you'll find in Indexima, the intelligence inside Indexima, will analyze and group these 8 queries. Some queries will need location information, sales figures, and maybe margins. Other queries will need other information. And these 8 queries, the engine has decided to generate 3 small structures, 3 dynamics tables, which will be the structures that will optimize each of the 8 queries. Then, as you move forward in time, and as Stefan showed us earlier, your queries will be redirected to the dynamic tables that have been created. And to do all this, you haven't actually made any modifications to your dashboard. For the dashboard designer, it remains a single table. It doesn't matter whether you're using the product view, the store view, the map view. In real life, you send your queries to your table, and Indexima takes care of redirecting each query to the best dynamic table.
It was great to see how the product worked. Could you tell us a little more about the constraints? Installation constraints? Setup? Do they add latency?
As Stefan has shown, it's actually very non-intrusive, and that's the tool's first advantage. We just slip in between the dashboard and Snowflake, listen, and send instructions to Snowflake to optimize the dashboard. So, in terms of intrusion, not much happens. As for latency, yes, there is latency. We've measured it between 15 and 18 milliseconds, depending on where your Indexima and Snowflake are located.
Yes, okay. At the end of the day, the impact you see with customers, so you see an impact in speed and you see an impact in optimization. What have you been able to measure in terms of cost optimization for querying on Snowflake?
Do you want to answer, Stefan, or do you want me to answer?
Please do.
I have a use case that's pretty close to the retail use case shown by Stefan, but my direct contact was the person in charge of dashboard design. In fact, this person was regularly criticized by end users for the slowness of the dashboards. 100 or so people who use dashboards on a daily basis and who say, well, yeah, but 10 seconds, 15 seconds, that's fine, but it's still too slow. This dashboard designer was using a medium-sized Snowflake warehouse.
Okay.
Following the installation of Indexima, the dashboard opened in less than 4 seconds, having reduced the warehouse from medium to small. So, on the one hand, he has gained in cost, and on the other, he has gained in user satisfaction, which is priceless.
And in terms of Indexima compatible tools, are there any that work better or worse?
In fact, Indexima is compatible with any tool that can speak Snowflake, as long as the tool knows how to interact with Snowflake. Obviously Tableau, Power BI, Looker, Metabase, MicroStrategy, but all tools, even consoles. As soon as the tool knows how to speak Snowflake, Indexima will be able to help any aggregation request sent by this tool.
Okay, very clear. At the end of the day, a developer can't know the requests of all his hundreds of users who are going to use hundreds of dashboards, who are going to see lots of data sources. Indexima allows the DBA to optimize user access to a completely infinite number of dashboards. This means that a DBA's work can be scaled much more quickly. And I think that's the kind of tool you're looking for from Synergy to speed up projects.
Yes, that's right. So, as we've seen, we're saving money on Snowflake. We're also saving on IT services since we're going much faster. On the other hand, we're multiplying projects because clients are satisfied. And as soon as there's satisfaction, one project follows another. And that's where we win. We have happy customers and we have projects that multiply because word of mouth spreads. And it's a success. And one project follows another.
Super. Thank you both very much and see you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.